Welcome to another episode of the podcast. With me is my dear friend Savannah Power. Sav, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? It's been so long.
It's been too long. Oh my gosh.
Agreed.
Thank you so much for reaching out and saying what's up and wanting to hop on. It's just so cool. The truth is, like, I'm not podcasting as much as I used to. Because I don't know, especially post pandemic, like I didn't know what to say. Everybody has a podcast now. I don't know what is so, like, it's just so. When I was younger, I had no problems talking like, oh, I have something so important to say. But I
Facts.
really care about listening and I love interviewing people. And I have this section on my website, this is a free plug, where if you have a short film, you can submit your film and we'll talk about it. And so
Oh, that's cool.
filmmakers will come on and it keeps me engaged and interested and I enjoy doing that. But
That's
oh my
sick. I
gosh.
actually didn't know you did that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really
Now,
cool.
when I have a film, I'll do that, and
So
we'll come back.
So we'll get into that for sure. First of all, how have you been? What has 2023 been like for you?
Dude, yeah, it's a whirlwind, man. Life is really weird. I feel like 2023 is the year we're all kind of like getting back to our lives in a way after the pandemic, at least for
Yes.
me, and I know for a lot of people. It's been weird. God, where to start, right? Coming out of a relationship, I started a 9 to 5 job working in YouTube. And now I'm working on like growing my own content again and kind of getting that creative spark back. So there's a lot going on for me. It's been a lot of big changes.
What have been the highs and what have been the lows? I'm gonna take some notes here.
Of 2023 specifically?
Well, if you don't mind, because I'd love to talk about it. You're gay,
I'm
right?
gay as fuck. Yeah, dude. Who
Gay
knew?
as fuck, which is rad, and that is you're kind of developing or like in the middle of that journey, unpacking. Is that fair
Yeah,
to
yeah.
say?
Sure. Yeah, no, for sure that's fair to say. So I officially I guess came out last year. I can share a little bit about
Congratulations.
that. Thank you. Thank you. And it wasn't like I felt like I was in the closet also. I feel like I've been meaning to do like a TikTok on this or something, but I wasn't like afraid to be gay or like I identified as bi for a very long time. I knew I was attracted to women, but I was in a monogamous relationship with a man for 7 years. So like since the time I figured out that I was attracted to women, which was sometime in college, I was in this monogamous relationship. So it was kind of like, well, in another life maybe I would have dated a woman. And I thought that I would never get that experience, and it wasn't by any means the reason that my ex and I split. But when we split, I was suddenly like, and I'm gonna date women now. Like it just like kind of clicked, and it wasn't a big. It was a huge like life changing realization, but it also was like a no brainer, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, I've been in my first year. I went to my first Pride this year, and I always thought I was like a good ally, but now I'm like I was not at all. Like I was
What
always like,
makes
"Gay people, it's great, it's fine."
what makes a good ally?
Good question. I think like really being informed on a deeper level. Like I feel like and hearing and letting queer people talk about their experience and not having to interject your like straight experience on top of that. Like recently I made a post about or I shouldn't say straight, but like non-queer experience. I made a post about how when I came out I had this experience of like I didn't feel like I looked gay enough. Like I suddenly felt very gay on the inside and not gay at all on the outside, and there was like this mismatch of like how I appeared to the world and to myself. But then now that I've been like out and I have a girlfriend and all the thing, like so much has changed that now I look back on old photos of myself when I was quote unquote bi or straight, and I'm like, I looked hella gay. Like I see the gayness in me now. So it's like been this weird experience of like how I see myself, you know? And then I posted that and like all these straight people started commenting about how like gay doesn't have a look and like all these things that are sort of platitudes that are meant to be about be authentic, be you, like there's no gay look, like just be you. But it felt actually very dismissive of like the gay experience, you know what I mean, of like and just kind of like missing a little bit of a whitewashing, if you will, of the queer experience as well. Like I was like, yeah, there's no gay look, but there's a gay look also at the same time. Like
Yeah.
there's so many TikToks on, people looking straight and then looking gay and that transition, and there's like a whole culture around looking like a lesbian or looking like, queer, and it's a way of expression and it's a way of signaling, and it's it's all these things. And so it was just funny because it was like only the straight people commenting. And I was like, and they think, obviously they had good intentions, and one of them was my mom. They have good intentions, and they don't mean to be that, but I guess learning how to hear that experience and honor it more than have to say something over it or about it. Does that make sense?
I'm going to ask a super ignorant question.
That's fine.
It's coming from an ignorant place.
Okay.
We hear words on the internet like female brain, male brain. Is there a straight brain, gay brain?
I actually haven't heard the female brain, male brain thing before.
Oh, really? Yeah, you hear like, there's a female brain, and I'm like, isn't a brain just a brain? But, there's different hormones and factories and pharmaceutical stuff going on in each brain. Like, I don't know. It's coming from a place of ignorance for me.
I would say yes, in the sense that, like, I feel like I see the world very differently now, post realizing I was gay, and just like being more a part of the community in a regular way and consistent way.
Yeah.
I just like now when I see someone, see certain people, like I think about where they might be on the sexuality spectrum, where I might have not even thought about it before.
Yeah.
Or if you're watching a show, like me and Lauren will always be watching a show, and like there'll be these gay undertones, and we're like, are they gonna get together? And like whereas before I might not have even noticed them. So, but that's just like because you're around it and you're aware of it now, and you can recognize the patterns, I guess.
So talk to me about how you see yourself. Your presentation or your expression, like how has that changed? Has that changed, and how conscious or unconscious is that?
For sure. It's changed a lot. So when I look back, I would say I presented much more femme. I had longer hair. I used to wear more dresses than I thought that I wore. Like,
wow. I don't know if I've seen you in a dress.
You probably haven't, but like, when I look at like my Instagram, I'm like, damn, like I was hella girly up through like 2019, like, which is not a bad thing, by the way. Like, there's also like this whole way that patriarchy erases femininity in the queer space, because if you're femme, you're not gay enough, and that's a whole thing that I'm unpacking as well. But so yeah, I dressed a lot more femme. I always felt very like pretty down to earth in how I dress, but I also like took a lot of care in that, even if it was casual, like a t-shirt and short and jeans. Like I always like cared about how I present, I guess. Like I think it's a visual aesthetics thing. Like I'm just a visual person. And then when I came out, I noticed I had a desire to like present more masculine, so I started dressing a little bit differently, experimented with different styles of clothing. I shop in both the male or women's and men's sections of stores now, clothing stores, and I just see what I like better. Like sometimes I end up buying from either, which is cool just to have that like option, and freedom is really nice. And now I've come to a place, I did the whole, they call it a baby gay thing, where you cut your hair off and you're like, I'm gay. Like it's like a whole hero's journey that we go on, right?
It's a whole arc.
It's a whole arc, and I am growing it back out, and now I'm like, I feel like I had to go to the extreme on the masculine side for me to then I'm going to come back and be somewhere in the middle of who I feel like I used to present as and who I do now. So now I'm making my way back towards like a middle ground, if that makes sense.
Do you approach it like kind of seasonally in a way? Like, just how you feel at any given moment in time?
Yeah, I do think it's like, for me, like now that I know I can pull off short hair, I'm totally going to cut my hair again in the future. Like I think it'll be hella nice to be able to cut it all off in the summer and then grow it back out in the winter or whatever, and like same way I used to love to dye my hair, and like I've always loved to just like change up my appearance. So it just has given me more options with that, and I think gender fluidity can be like really day to day for me. Like some days I want to dress more femme and I feel more femme, and then other days I want to present more masc. And it's really nice to like have the freedom to do either, I guess.
I feel like for as long as I've known you, there's been this switch that you flipped in this. I don't want to call it a transition because that means something else, but like
Sure.
in this development, in this
Yeah.
arc that you're on right now, was there a moment where you're like, "Oh my God, I've been living a different way. I'm gonna live this way now." Like, talk to me about that moment, even if it was gradient.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think
If
there
you
was.
if you feel comfortable divulging that, if you don't,
No, yeah, for sure. Do you mean specifically like did I ever consider transitioning, or do you just mean like
Oh
do
well,
I feel radically
I mean,
different?
during this metamorphosis or during this coming out party,
Mm-hmm.
words matter. So I'm trying to really like
Sure.
walk on eggshells here.
Also, you're safe with me to say the wrong thing. Like,
Thank
by
you,
the way.
and I will, I inevitably will. But like when you decided, oh my gosh, like I'm gay, not decided, but when you,
But, like,
I don't know what
really,
that.
really realized, and like I think for me it was realizing and then really like owning and acknowledging and
When you
honoring.
decided to
Yeah.
own it,
Yeah.
was there a moment? Was there like what changed in the external world, if anything at all, where you decided something internally changed as well?
Okay, I think I am understanding your question.
I guess like was there an external trigger that made you realize, oh, I have to own this?
No, I mean the only thing was like the breakup. Like it was like, okay, I'm single and I'm on a dating app and I have to decide what my preferences are.
Gotcha.
And it was like, it's women.
What are your thoughts on, and this is one of those he's going to say the wrong things. What are your thoughts on being born gay versus becoming gay? Is there such a thing?
Sure. Yeah, so I think
I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but there's someone very close to me who who's a woman who's just been destroyed by men one too many times and says, I'm gonna start dating women now.
yeah.
Like she wasn't born gay, but and
Right.
obviously people are, but she decided to be gay, which is like a thing, but that's not the case with you. You
For
were
everyone, yeah.
You were always
Sure. So for me, it's been really interesting to look back, right, and try to figure out at what point was I gay, or could I have figured this out sooner? Was I gay as a kid? It's been a whole, like figuring out for me and looking back and like reflecting. I did have a lot of really close friendships with girls. I don't ever remember wanting to kiss them. I don't ever remember thinking about them the way I thought about boys. But I was also like in a heavily straight region. Like I did have a gay uncle and he was always accepted and around. We always
Where
knew
was
it was
this?
like Northern California.
and it was a heavily straight region in California.
Yeah. I mean, so I do feel like I don't remember like well, it was a small town to begin with, so it was just like limited number of people anyways.
And
I
how
remember
old are
one
you
lesbian
around
couple.
this time?
Between 8 and 16.
One gay couple.
I remember one lesbian, like, in the whole town. Like,
Wow.
and, no lesbians that were attractive to me, like, that I would have been like, oh, like, that's something I could see. And I don't remember any queer girls at school, although looking back now, I can be like, oh, I think like, looking back now, it's like, you see people and I think they have since come out, and it's like, okay, that makes sense to me that you came out, But I forget what the question was. Oh,
Well,
yeah. So was I born gay? I
Yeah.
think I was born exactly where I am now on the spectrum, like probably more gay than straight, but still bi, I would say. I consider myself bi. I just wouldn't date men at this point.
I see.
But I think I was always here. I just wasn't exposed to that other narrative, didn't see a lot of it. Didn't ever see anything that attracted me, except for maybe Allison Stoner, because she was very cute.
Who is
And
she?
she's an actress in Cheaper by the Dozen.
Oh, okay. I probably
like when we were little.
could see. I probably
It's
recognize
like
her face.
it's like things like that where you're like, oh, I was like weirdly obsessed with her from that movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like things like that
Yeah.
where you're like, was that a crush? Maybe, maybe not. But
Hmm.
yeah. So I feel like I didn't start having sexual attractions to women until college. Um, but is that because of like where I was raised and how much I was exposed to it? I think it's a lot more conditioning than it is how gay you are or not. I think it's much more what you're raised around, what you see. That's why representation is so important, you know? If I'd seen lesbians in movies from day one, like, and it was super normal and accepted, like, who knows, you know?
Yeah, so I'm raising two kiddos, and they both just came out straight. Just boring
Mm-hmm.
ass motherfuckers. Just kidding. No, no, but we always kept it like, or whatever you're into. If you like
Yeah.
that boy, if you like that girl, or whatever you're into. Dot dot
Yeah.
dot. Kind of
Yeah.
waiting for
Yeah.
them to come out. You want people to. We want to foster this environment as parents that like
Sure.
it's cool to feel what you feel.
Yeah.
But my kids are fucking straight. They're
Yeah.
straight and boring.
Yeah.
But
That they know of for now too.
that
Like
they know
also,
of for now. I mean, how?
We also don't know, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
If
Talk to me.
there's
Oh,
there's a
please,
show
continue.
there's a show on Netflix right now that I'd recommend called Heartstopper if you haven't seen it.
Never heard of it. Let me write this
It's just like
down.
a queer love story, young boys in high school, and it's very high school friendly. I don't remember how old your kids are, but like that's a great show that like if I had seen something like that at high school age, you know, like just to have like happy queer shows. Like there's not a lot of
Yeah.
those, so I
There's
recommend
not.
that one.
We just finished for the second time Schitt's Creek, which is
Love it. Another great example of like
Yeah.
a healthy, happy queer
Absolutely.
relationship in that one.
Yeah, and so it's out in the open in my household, whereas when I was growing up, not so much, and I didn't see that representation out there. Like I can't think of a queer character on
No,
television.
yeah, totally.
I can't think of one. I'm curious, and I know this is a little too deep. Maybe you didn't expect this, but a big recurring theme for me this year, especially this month, has been overthinking and the voice in my head. So I'm curious about your self-talk and the voice in your head. What has your relationship been with it since owning your gayness? I'm going to call it.
For sure. I mean, to me, they've been separate journeys. Like, I don't think that my gayness has had an effect on my self-talk. My self-talk was just as bad, like, when I first came out as it was maybe 3 or 4 months ago. I would say, like, recently I've been working on my self-talk a lot. And, like, that's been making a change. But I did not notice any, like, specific changes
Wow.
in my self-talk just from that experience. Like this is the funny thing. Something else that people say a lot is like, oh, like you're really embracing your authenticity now that you're queer, you know? And and I'm always like, no, like my authentic truth was that I was bi and I was with a man. You know what I mean? Like, or like it wasn't that I was being inauthentic, and it wasn't that I was lying to
Gotcha.
myself, and it wasn't that, that I had negative self-talk necessarily. It just was like, it honestly was like, I woke up one day and was just like, oh yeah, that makes sense, you know?
That's so beautiful. Yeah, and that's why I asked was if
Yeah.
there was like some sort of, I guess as a person who's been raised on television and film, was there a scene that where it clicked and you're like, I declare bankruptcy, I'm gay, like was there that
Yeah.
moment? But it not so much.
Yeah.
Did you catch that reference? By
I
the
will
way?
say no. What was
Oh,
that?
that's from The Office. Sorry.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
dumb.
okay. No, you're fine. There was like it was gradual in the sense that like this might be too personal, and we can decide later if we want to publicize it. But
I'll make note.
This is the funniest joke to me. I think it's hilarious. But I'm very into self pleasure, so I used to masturbate a lot, and I found that I used to like go in the closet to not wake up my ex. And then I would also fantasize about women. And then one time I was like, am I literally in the closet and like figuratively in the closet? And that was like one of those moments that I just like, I think it's hysterical that I was like literally in the closet. But like that became more frequent. I will say like the fantasies became more frequent, the thinking about it, the wondering. We talked about opening our relationship, like all those kinds of things were happening, but they weren't ever moving to a point of like me getting to find out, because I had never been with a woman, so I also had this part of me that was like, what if I think I'm gay and then I'm with a woman and I'm not, or I'm like, fuck, I actually not into this, you know? So like
Right.
there was a whole piece of me that also felt like I needed to like prove that I was gay, or like
Sure.
confirm like I need to have sex with a woman to make sure, you know? So
Yes.
like that was a really interesting experience as well.
Two things. Happy to take that out if you want to, but I
Okay.
will say that, and I made a note too, so we can if you want.
Okay.
But I will say, I've done hundreds of podcasts.
Hmm.
I've talked to hundreds of people from all walks of life, and people have revealed things to me that are deeply personal. That's one of the coolest things anybody has ever said that I've ever heard. And
I think it's
it's one of
hilarious
the
as well.
raddest, like truest, most personal, honest things I've ever heard. And I think someone is going to get something out of that.
Okay, yeah.
Other than the
If it helps
lulls.
someone, it helps someone, you know? Like, I mean, I'm about that too.
Yeah. This is weird to ask a friend, I think, but since you brought it up,
Yeah.
when you had your first woman experience,
Hmm.
is that when you knew, and how did that feel?
It definitely was like very confirmative, like that, like, oh yeah, this is gonna be no problem with the attraction piece, you know?
Yeah.
A lot of women say stuff like, well, I could make out with a woman, but I would never go down on a woman kind of thing. And
I
like
hear
that
that
was
all the
also
time.
my narrative. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was like, it actually turns out it's no problem. So
That's cool.
I've enjoyed it more. I think I enjoy it more than sex with men. I really do. So it was like, yeah, it was definitely like, I don't think that I ever would have known if I never tried it. It's crazy. Like, I really think that I could have accidentally, like, ended up just in that straight relationship forever, and I just never would have known, which is really sad to me and scary. You know what I mean? Because like I almost didn't have this chance to like find out that my sexuality might be actually better and like stronger with this other, you know, person, I guess, or sex. But yeah.
It sounds like in the sexuality matrix, you took the red pill and
Hmm.
you're out and you get to be free.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
I haven't had those shackles. I was born a straight man, and I knew from 4 or 5 years old that I was attracted to women. So I never had, like, I have other, you know, in my rocking chair kind of moments where I'm like, what would I regret in my life? But like to have that's sexuality is so huge, as you know.
Yeah, it's like a
Like,
huge regret to have, I feel like.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah,
So boy, am
yeah.
I happy that you went through your confirmation.
Me too, me too. I definitely yeah, it's like it's been very like bittersweet in that sense of like there's been a lot of like grieving as well. Like I didn't get to have a queer adolescence. I didn't get to grow up knowing I was queer. I didn't get all those cute high school romances with girls. You know what I mean? So like there's been a lot of like having to come to terms with coming out later as well.
Hmm.
Or just like realizing it later and dealing with the FOMO of that. But yeah, but I'm so grateful that it happened when it did, and um it just makes sense. It's wild.
Talk to the parents out there. What could they have done differently to
Mm.
to to at least make you comfortable in your own skin, or like could they have asked anything? Are there some what could they have seen? What could they have known?
Yeah, good question. Sorry, my cats are like meowing. Hold on, I just want to make sure they're okay because they don't get along.
You can hear her being a cat mom.
If you're gonna be queer, you gotta be a cat mom. That's for sure.
I didn't
Women
know.
love their cats.
That's funny.
No pun intended. Okay, so for parents, what I would say, representation for sure is so important. Like, there are a lot more like queer films and TV now, and I would say like watching that as much as you watch straight films, you know, like caring about queer stories. Like, I feel like to some extent I did not feel like they were relevant to me, so I didn't watch them. But
Hmm.
like, I feel like caring about queer stories. I don't know. I don't know if any conversations would have changed anything because, like, again, in my household, it was safe to come out. Like, my uncle was
That's
gay,
great.
and we all knew that, and like, we went to his wedding, and like, there was never anything like that. So I don't know. I really think it was more about like just like culture in general and being somewhere where you're exposed to it more. Like, but that's not necessarily something a parent can always control either. If you live in a small town, you live in a small town. Like, um, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, definitely like making it an open, safe place, and yeah, not assuming straightness is a big one too. Like, just don't assume that they're straight, even if they are appearing to be straight, for a long time. Like, just doesn't mean anything at any point. Another funny story is, for the longest time, I thought my brother was gay, and I used
Really?
to like make jokes all the time about like
Were you projecting?
just I guess. I guess, because, like, I was always like, when is he gonna come out? Like, he is so gay. Like, gotta be, right? And, like, I was like, the other thing I used to say was, like, there's four of us. Like, statistically, one of us has to be gay. Like, that's too many kids to not be gay. And it was just, like, this running thing for me. I don't know. It's, like, a fucked up thing to do as well. But yeah, turns out I was the gay one. I'm the gay one for now, at least. We'll see about anyone else, but
And your bro, he's not gay.
he has not come out. If he is, yeah,
Well,
I
surely,
won't speculate.
surely, with seeing how it just seems like you've let life in, like from a friend's perspective on the other side, parasocially, which is how most of our
Sure.
relationship is, like over the
Yeah.
past year. It just looks like, yeah, you are living your authentic self. Like, you're
Yeah.
gay as fuck, and you're
Yeah.
proud of it. Like, that is
Totally.
rad. Like, I mean, it's weird, I know Austin is a bubble,
Right.
and I feel like post 2020, it's even more of a bubble than it's ever been. And outside of Texas, it gets a little weird, right? So,
Yeah.
I'm assuming when you get outside of Austin, are you like, have you had to deal with
So
homophobia?
yeah, it is interesting. I haven't dealt with a lot of it. It's is interesting though, like just noticing when I do and don't feel safe, or like certain times that I go by Savannah versus Sav, or like stuff like that. And yeah, there's definitely like I haven't really gone to anywhere like rural Texas or anything like that. As of late, the other thing I would say about being a good ally or a good parent also is like follow some people on social media that talk about what's going on with the legislature and what's going on with like Congress when it comes to like queer rights and trans rights, because I've been fucking alarmed. Like I just
Yeah.
thought we were so much farther along when I was straight because I wasn't really paying attention to it. But now, like, if something changes tomorrow, I might not even be able to get married. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that affects my life like so directly, or like, being able to have kids, like all of these different things. And so, yeah, so like paying attention, follow people that are different than you. I follow people that are on the far right or far left side. No, far right side. Sometimes I can't remember the sides anymore.
Yeah, they blur
Far right
together.
side, just to know what's going on, to know what crazy thoughts people are spewing out there, and but yeah, I mean, it's just important to like expand your knowledge. And this has showed me how I could be a better Black ally as well. Like, I'm still not doing enough to be a good ally to the African American community in the U.S. So there's a lot we can all do better on.
Man, I'm feeling like shit right now.
Right?
Because I'm super ignorant. Like, I don't watch the news. I'm one of those guys that, like, I have my head in
It
the
doesn't
sand.
have to be the news either. Like, it could be social media. I can
Yeah.
send you some peeps too, and like you can always put them in the show notes and stuff.
Please do.
But yeah, it doesn't have to be the news, because like I don't like the news either, and it's fucking depressing.
Very. Like,
But-
as of right now, we're going to date this podcast. Yesterday, Donald Trump turned himself in.
Yep.
I guess
We got
he
the
was, like,
mugshot.
arrested. The mugshot's out there, so it just happened
Yeah.
24 hours ago. And I don't know what for or what he did, and like I don't know anything. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to give that. My bandwidth is so sacred to me.
Totally.
And it's not that I don't want to know about gay issues and people of color issues. I certainly do, because yeah, I have skin in the game. Like, these are my people. Like, I love mankind, you know, and I thought we were further along as well.
Totally.
And then Roe v. Wade gets overturned.
Right.
You know, so it's like, how the fuck does this happen? And so
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
And
who
maybe
we
that's
vote for
maybe we're
matters.
all feeling that. Like, maybe it's not just because I came out. It might also just be like, we're in a weird fucking time right now where we're all like, wait, what? Like, we thought we were past this.
Yeah,
So,
that's like been the theme of the 20s. The 2020s is like, wait a second, what just
Whoa.
happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, for better or worse. So this has been like your 2022, 2023 kind of coming out party.
Yeah.
How has your life changed besides becoming
The obvious things. Yeah.
owning your gayness? Like,
Sure.
how has your life changed? You mentioned a 9 to 5. How is that?
Yeah, so soul sucking. No. Like,
Really?
it's not, I mean, it's not okay. I don't want to say too much cuz, like, you know,
Sure.
I don't know who will see it, but it started great, as they always do, and then
There's
I
a
feel
honeymoon
like
phase.
honeymoon phase, especially as someone with pretty intense ADHD, you know, it gets to be a drag. The other thing that I've noticed happens is, like, I'll get, like, financially stable again somewhat, and
Great.
then the creative spark will come back, because it's like, oh, I'm not fucking scared. I'm not in scarcity anymore. Like,
Right.
I want to be creative now. But then,
Yeah.
like, my energy is, like, somewhat depleted from being, you know, at work all day. Yeah, it's like, it's such a tough balance, because, like, I really feel like, I mean, we're just in a shit economy as well, but, like, I feel like you're giving up something so important, which is, like, life, and, like, the opportunity to experience life and go do things, and, like, you can't do any of that without money, but also, in order to have money, you're, like, tied down to, like, a place, you know? Like, if I could, like, pick up off in a van tomorrow and just, like, fucking drive away, I totally would, you know? And I might. But, yeah,
Hashtag
just,
van
like,
life.
yeah, I've been, like, having a hard time justifying, like, any of this bullshit, because, like,
Dude.
I feel like life is so short, and I'm just getting older and older, and time just keeps going by, and I keep saying I'm going to do these things, and I'm not doing them, and then, like, I'm like, I really don't want to wake up in another decade and have the same documentary I haven't finished, the same script I haven't written, the same movies I haven't made. Like, I feel like I'm right now just like if I were to die, like a coffin full of unfulfilled fucking potential, you know, which is probably over exaggeration, but, like, there's so much I want to do, and I feel really restricted by, like, this job I have right now.
You have to treat your 9 to 5 like a mistress. And to use a very uncool word, you have to treat it like a whore.
Yeah.
You have to treat it like, I'm not in love with you, I'm not going to marry you,
Yeah.
but I'm going to fuck you until something
Until
better
you're
comes
dry.
along.
Yeah.
Until you're done.
Yeah.
You know? And just fuck that whore for as long as you can. Dispassionately remove all your passion
Right.
from it, and let it fund your dreams until your dreams fund you.
Right. That's kind of what I've come to the same realization lately, and, like, because you see it reflected back often at these jobs too. Like, I've tried to go above and beyond, and it has not been rewarded, it has not been incentivized, like, to the point, like, past ridiculousness. So I'm like, okay, I'm done trying. I've tried to be the above and beyond employee, and now I'm gonna be the B- employee. And, like, I'm just gonna do what is asked of me and not more than that. And yeah, exactly like you said, like, find my purpose and my passion elsewhere. And, like, it's been working okay. I think the hardest thing is just, like, when I'm sitting there at work feeling like, oh my god, I'm just, like, doing nothing here, and I could be making content or, like, working on the thing I actually want to be working on, and then by the time I actually get home, I'm, like, no longer motivated or, like, tired or whatever, you know? But yeah, I'm kind of just gonna ride it until, you know, like you said, and, like, until I can't anymore, or whatever happens, and yeah, and trust that, like, the next thing will reveal itself. It always does, you know.
Until the wheels come off, as they say.
Yeah.
I don't remember when, if it was this year or last year. I have terrible memory when it comes to this. But when did we take pictures?
Oh man. I think that was end of last year. I think it was November-ish of last
Okay.
year.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for those. I love the way
yeah,
they came out. You made me feel like not ugly, and just thank you. Where are you with your photography? Like, what's your
yeah.
relationship with it? Like, talk to me about that.
I still really enjoy photography. I'm still working on growing that side hustle as well. So like the way I kind of see it is, yeah, I have the photography where I'm still focusing on like authentic portraiture that's very like supposed to be like a healing experience. So actually what you just said is very accurate for a lot of my clients. They've either like not liked photos of themselves in the past, always hated the way they look, have body confidence issues, whatever. And I work with them and do some coaching around that. We do the photo shoot. And I'm working on just like continuing to expand that experience so that it in of itself is a healing transformation. It's not just about the photos. It's like learning to change the way that you see yourself and revise your self-image. And so super passionate about that still. I also like want to make that more like pull in more of like my sort of like creative and like fine art, like see it as a fine art
Hmm.
experience as well. Like what is your fine art portrait? Like what is like your $1 million portrait? Like if you had one portrait for the rest of your life of you, like what does
Yeah,
that look like? How does you come across visually? You know what I mean?
that's a
So I've
beautiful
been
question.
working on that as well. Um, and then I see like YouTube and maybe like content on like TikTok and stuff like that as another avenue that is more like scratching the filmmaking and cinematic itch and storytelling itch. And then I have actual films that I want to make too. So I'm hoping that between like the three of those things, I could create an ecosystem of revenue and always have something to jump to,
Hmm.
when I get burnout or whatever.
Yeah, I think YouTube is I learned this. I'm always like a late learner, but
Me too.
YouTube I think is the end game
Yeah,
for people like
same.
us.
I'm
If we
surprised
could make 5 to 10K a month off YouTube,
on
like, aren't we
YouTube.
good?
We'd be set. Yeah, we'd be so set. And like, I hate that I'm so late to learning about YouTube, but I'm really fucking late to learning about YouTube. But I've been working at this YouTube company now, and yeah, this guy makes 50K off each channel he has or whatever, a month and something like that. And yeah, I mean, I would need like a third of that, to live or whatever. Um, but yeah, I think I forget where I was going with that. I got
Well,
distracted
I
by
just said YouTube's the end game, right?
yeah,
So like, having this ecosystem to make money
yeah,
off of to fund the films because films aren't cheap, and we chose a very
correct.
expensive art form.
I know it's the
Do
worst.
you have any films in the
In the
incubating
works.
in the
Yeah,
works?
so
Talk
I've
to me
got my
about those.
personal documentary, which have we talked about that before?
Man, if it's the same one I'm thinking of, there was a
The
while
cyber
back.
stalking one.
No, I haven't heard about
Oh,
this.
okay, okay. So when I was 18, I was cyber stalked like pretty severely online. And it went on for a better part of a year, like really destroyed my mental health, was like haunting me. There was potentially like footage of me naked somewhere by this anonymous person. And we do all of this investigating. My dad like pretty much becomes like an investigator, like puts on his investigator hat and he's calling the wireless companies and he's suing Tumblr and he's doing all these things to try and get the information of the person who was harassing me to the point of like almost killing myself.
Oh my
And we
God.
find out it is my 65-year-old uncle who
What?
is who is married to my dad's sister and is a retired assistant district attorney and has stalked other women in the family before. So like I was not even the first. And it just like unraveled this like entire crazy family secrets explosion in my family.
Holy
Yeah.
shit, dude.
Yeah.
You never told me this.
I'm
I think
surprised I
I,
never told you.
I
Yeah.
I will say that like I think I remember you talking about this,
Yeah.
but you didn't drop those specifics.
Drop
And
it like that. Yeah.
I think and one thing I was gonna say, this is I should have said this 30 minutes earlier, but one thing I noticed with this energy right now is just how
Mhm.
fucking radically confident you are.
Thank you.
Like you're so confident. Like
Yeah.
I can eat that. I can eat that up. It's just so
Yeah.
infectious, you know. Like I really
Yeah.
appreciate that. And I think what you just said right now, I don't know if you would have told me that 2 years ago.
Yeah,
You know?
probably not in so many words as well, and
Yeah.
yeah, and quite with the precision that I I know it with now, you know?
So, first of
Um,
all, I'm so fucking sorry that that happened. That's
Thank
like
you.
the
Yeah.
worst nightmare.
Yeah, it was really a nightmare. It was crazy. So I've
And so
been
you're
working
making
on
a
like telling
documentary
that
about that?
story. Yeah, I've been working on a personal doc about that for 7 years ish. Like almost as long as I was in that last
How do you
relationship.
know when a documentary is finished?
That is the problem. It's like I don't know what the ending is because we never got closure, we never got justice, it wasn't illegal, like he never got any kind of,
Isn't that
uh
the title card at the end?
I know, right? That's what everyone says and I'm like it's not good enough. I don't want the bow, like, you know what I mean? The storyteller in me wants
Well,
like
how about
the
you
ending,
just
but
serialize it, so that way it's told in four
I've
parts or
thought about
something.
that, yeah. I
Yeah.
think I've been realizing lately I think the ending is now. Like I'm like I think I needed to get to where I am now. I think I needed to get to like not giving a fuck as much as I used to. Like I recently reached out to my relative one more time just like, "Hey, I'm giving the doc a last stab. Are you sure you don't want to tell your story?" Because she's the other victim. And she got angry at me again for telling my story. And I was like, you know what? I'm fucking done with these people. Like, the entire extended family has been absolute bullshit about it from, like, the get go. And, like, it was just, like, the final straw for me of, like, why have I been, like, catering to these people and trying to make them comfortable and, like, doing all of this stuff to try and, like,
Because you're a
make them not
professional.
hate me? Yeah, I guess. And I'm just like, you know what? Like, I'm done with that. Like, I'm done with this being over my head. Like, it's just like, it's time. Um, and I think, like, I've been showing up more online. I've been showing up more confidently in my life. And I think that's the ending. Like, I think I've got my power back finally, like, 10 years later.
If that's not
And
closure, I don't know what is. What does
yeah,
closure look
exactly.
like?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll wait till I see the documentary. You don't need to tell me the specifics on how this wraps up. But oh my gosh, what a fucking nightmare! I could tell you as a father.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
heads would roll.
Oh,
You
I
know.
know. Yeah. I mean, if my dad wasn't like the least confrontational person on the planet, we'd be in a very different place right now. My mom, you just can't give her a gun anywhere near that man. You know, I think he'd be gone. But
Yeah.
there's still a lot of anger, like from my parents because, like, I mean, I've worked on it for 10 years now. Like all my therapy, all the coaching, like I looked at this thing from every angle. You know. So it's made me who I am in like the best way, actually. Like if anything, I've learned to be grateful for it, and it really has shaped who I am as a human. Like I wouldn't have gone on the like self development journey I had to go on to survive. So
Holy shit, Sav! I
yeah,
can't believe it. I can't believe that's what it takes.
yeah, I
You
know.
know.
So the plan is like finish that, drop that shit, have it
What is
also.
it? What is it called?
So the harassment page that he set up was called Artful Comments. So the working title is The Year of Artful Comments.
I'd
Yeah.
watch it. Watch it. I'm sorry to
So
say.
watch for it.
It's weird. Like I've never. I remember the first time I watched a movie that my friends acted in. It was bizarre. Like this is
Yeah.
10, 12 years ago. Wow, they're in a movie. It's so weird. And I'm feeling that way right now of like, wow, like my friend that I care about deeply made a documentary that's like horrid and it's just like wow, like I
Yeah.
can't believe it. I can't believe it, and
Yeah.
so but I see you now and I'm like thank God that she's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, like I feel like I had to find Buddhism to like survive. Like that meditation was how I survived that year. And then from there it became woo woo and manifesting. And then from there it became self talk and like all the things that I had to learn. I put myself through forgiveness coaching as part of the film. So I learned how to forgive him. And that was really liberating. And I mean, yeah, I just think it shaped every aspect of who I am. So it's so much my story. Like it's like the thing on my New Year's resolutions every year. It's the thing I'm like I have to finish this before I die. Like I can't not tell this story. I cannot. So,
Technically what is stopping you, just saying goodbye to it?
um So for a long time, it has been hard to work on because like it's re-traumatizing every time I sit down with it. You know, like having to go through it emotionally again can be really difficult. I still fucking cry every time I watch the edit. Like I still get upset and I get re-angry again. You know, so that's made it hard. Relatives not wanting to talk has made it hard because I feel like it would be stronger if I had more interviews. But like a lot of people tell me that's not necessarily true, and it's my story and it doesn't matter. Um, I think it would just be nice to be back, to feel like backed up, and like I'm not, because they're gonna say I'm making this shit up, and you know what I mean. Like they're gonna say like we have evidence for like the stalking, but the family history stuff is more hearsay, a lot more family rumor. Like the facts aren't 100% on all that stuff, so I just don't want to get sued. I'm afraid to get sued, so I've got to obviously like have a legal team look over it and all the
get
things.
sued.
But like,
Fucking get. What are they gonna do? Fuck off. Get sued, man. Like all the best filmmakers get sued. Like embrace it.
Yeah.
Piss in the wind. Like fucking go for it.
Yeah. So it's
Come
really
at me,
like
bro.
I've just got to finish the edit and like really, really like edit the ending, like edit a climax, which I think I have a vision for now. So that's cool. And then I want like one cyber stalking expert, and I had one, and then I lost her, and I need to get her back. So,
Yeah.
just like coordinating that, and then like some mastering, some dubbing, some fine tuning of the edit. So it's close. I think it's like 85% of the way there. I really do.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Like just that, as a filmmaker too. Like especially, my son just got home, and 5 dudes are walking out of this car. 1, 2, 3,
Who'd you
4,
invite,
5
bro?
dudes. Like, this ain't your car, bro. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna go back to what I was saying. Yeah, I know how hard it is to make a movie. Have you finished a feature before?
I have not. This would be my first feature as well.
I cannot. I'm on the podcast. I cannot convey deeply enough the catharsis of finishing a feature.
Yeah.
Let alone something of this magnitude that you're so emotionally,
attached to.
connected to. Dude, finish it. Finish it.
Yeah. I'm gonna for sure. So
What else you got in the works?
So there's that. I'm working on a screenplay about the whole breaking off an engagement coming out thing. I think it'll also be a bit of like a way for me to like write the queer experience I didn't have as well. Because I met my girlfriend on Hinge. It was very not movie-like, not cinematic. So, writing more of a dramatic version of that, I think will be cool and kind of cathartic as well. So that's my first feature narrative, I think, idea. And it's been an idea for a long time. It's always been a road trip movie of some sort. There's some kind of road trip involved. And then when this last year happened, those two ideas kind of came together, and I was like, I think that's the narrative. So I'm still kind of fleshing that one out. But I have written a first draft, and I'm going to try to get my second and third drafts done this fall. So, that's in the pipeline.
Dude, that's so cool. I'm so excited for you. If you ever need someone to carry equipment from one building to another, I'm always here for that.
Hell yeah, for sure.
Always.
I definitely need to start finding more film community in Austin, because I'm like, even if I was ready to make this tomorrow, I would have no one to call except maybe you.
Yeah, I'd be there.
I don't really feel like I have a lot of film friends. Do you feel like you have a lot of film friends?
Well, I didn't for 10 years since I moved here, and one of my friends moved from New York. Well, back. I mean, he was here in Austin originally, but he moved from New York to Austin. Shout out to JR. Essentially to make movies with me, that's a big part of the reason why he moved, if I'm being honest. And we've made 3 movies in the past 13 months or 14 months.
Oh my God, cool.
Yeah, so I now feel like I have the homies to make it.
Nice.
You can't do it alone.
You can't.
Apparently Savannah can. She can make a documentary by herself, which is holy shit. What are some of your favorite documentaries?
Oh man. So Stories We Tell was my original inspiration for my film. There was also some other I love personal cinema. I think it's so fascinating, the self-reflexive, and YouTube is this way too. Everyone's filming themselves and just kind of exploring their inner life, and I love that shit. I live off that. I forget the names of half of the ones I've seen. I love. Oh, did you see Tickled or whatever that was on HBO?
No.
It came out a while ago about like the underground of tickling.
What the fuck?
Like my jaw has not dropped more times
Writing this down.
than in that
I got
movie.
Heartstopper and Tickled written down.
Heartstopper and Tickled. God, there's been so many. There's been a lot of good ones lately.
Can I recommend one? People
Yeah.
recommend documentaries all the time. You're never going to watch it, but
Yeah.
please watch this one.
Okay.
If you haven't seen it already. Because
Yeah.
it changed my life, and then I made a documentary,
Ooh.
a short form. It was like 10 minutes long. And it was about my journey being homeless 10 years ago. And I interviewed my wife, I interviewed my mom, and it was, you know, what inspired me was this movie called Minding the Gap.
Minding the Gap. I have heard of this one also
Walk into it
recently.
blind. Don't
Okay.
don't IMDb it or whatever. It's on Hulu. It's a Hulu
Okay.
movie, so it'll be there forever. Just walk into it blind, please.
Okay. I
And
will.
if that doesn't give you the push to finish your doc, I
Okay,
don't know
cool.
what will.
Another favorite of mine is Minimalism. Did you watch that one when it came out?
By Matt D'Avella.
Matt D'Avella? Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I like that
Yeah.
one a lot. I like his style a lot.
I hate him because I'm so jealous of him.
I know, me too. I had to get through that to like him.
Yeah. To watch it, I had to be like,
He's the worst. Yeah.
yeah, he's son of a bitch. He's so
I
cool.
know. does it
No,
all.
that's a great one, yeah. And I want to incorporate that to my life. But if I were to turn this camera the other way, you'd see all my clutter. Like it's
Yeah.
I mean, I have clutter everywhere, So
I'm surprisingly minimalist. My girlfriend is not. That's been fun. I'm like,
love
there
it.
is so much Pokemon stuff around me.
I love it.
She does too.
Man, that's so cool. Well, I want to wrap
Yeah.
up here.
Okay.
What are some goals for 2023? We got 3-4 months left. Like, what are some spots you want to hit by the end of this year?
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of big ones, but like, I don't know. I don't know if I could say complete edit of the film, the doc, but definitely like, I mean, I don't see why not, but I want to be like mostly done. Like, I want it to be like just finishing touches, like
Yeah.
for that. I want to do two more revisions of the screenplay that I have. And
Does
then
that have a title?
I think I'm calling it Anywhere But Here right now.
Ooh, I really like that.
Thanks. And then I want to launch my like YouTube and content on TikTok. So I have some like big plans for that and a couple ideas for my first couple of videos. I want to try and do like more long, like 10-minute to 15-minute cinematic videos.
Dude.
And then short bits on TikTok. So
Look, I'm going to say this right now, take it or leave it. I won't be offended either way, but I want to help you with your YouTube because filming yourself is really fucking hard and arduous.
it is.
As you know. And if you ever need like just that second shooter or whatever, if you ever want to do like something, because especially to make it cinematic, like it just
Hell yeah.
it's cool to have that help. So
Totally.
I support that. I've made a few aesthetic cinematic YouTube vlogs, and I want to go full tilt on those too. So you saying that, I'm like a YouTube buddy. Like it just
Yeah, that'd be
inspires
great.
me.
I would love that. Yeah, we can totally go shoot sometime too if you want to go adventuring and just go shooting and
I would
chilling.
love
That'd be
that.
fun.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I'm very awkward without my camera
Yeah.
when I go out.
I need to learn how to be that because I'm like I have this like cringe thing of like I don't want anyone to see me YouTubing. Like I'm like so embarrassed to be a YouTuber, so you can help
Really?
me get over that. Yeah.
Oh, I'll help you get over that because I'm the other way. I feel like I'm naked without my camera.
Oh, I'm like the opposite. Yeah, I'm like please don't look at me. Please don't look at me vlogging.
Oh my gosh.
So-
Those things are going to happen. There's still so much time left for this year. I'm really
Yeah.
excited for you.
Me
I'm
too.
so, as a friend, like, all I really want as a friend is when you text them and you ask, you good? And they are good. Like, that's all I want. And it sounds like you're doing phenomenal. Like, is life perfect? No, it's not perfect for anybody.
Right.
But all the stuff that matters, like your true
Yeah.
essence, is there. And I
Yeah.
couldn't be prouder and more happy for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me on. It's been so nice to catch up.
Of course. Call to action. So is there anything that anybody can do to follow you and support what you got going on?
Yeah. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram Reels. It's at Savannah Makes a Movie. My YouTube, I believe, is at Miro Media, which is MYRRO Media. And that's also my business Instagram. And look out for the films. Hopefully they'll be coming soon to a streaming platform near you. We'll see.
They will, for sure. Thanks again so much for coming on, Savannah. I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.